All right, you guys, before we get into today's episode of the pod, you guys have to subscribe because I'm looking at you and you are not subscribed to the channel yet. And also, you have to hit the notification bell because you're not going to know when I post if you don't have notifications when I post. And then also share the video, you guys, so all your family, friends, anybody you may know can tune into this podcast. And then also like the video so I know you guys are liking these episodes. And then also comment down below who you guys would like to see on this podcast. It could be anybody. Just let me know. And then also follow my social medias. I'm going to pop them on the screen so you guys can stay up to date with everything to do with this podcast. And then also check out the Spotify version as well. It's going to be in the description. So click that link if you want to listen to the Spotify version. And then also the take.sport.blog. I am a sports writer. So go ahead and check out those articles. If you guys do not click that link, you guys are going to be missing out on some of the best articles you'll ever read. So make sure to go click that link below. But let's go ahead and get into this pod, you guys. So welcome to another episode of Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson. And in today's episode, I got Shiloh Means, University of Pennsylvania safety, joining me on. I appreciate you. So how would you rate your season? You guys went 8-2, 5-2 in conference play. So how do you think you guys did this year?
I think we did. I think we did pretty good. If we're comparing it to last year as well, we went 3-7. There are a lot of moving parts in the off season, which got us to the place we are now, which is 8-2. But we still fell short. We fell short, at least in my opinion, because we're one game away from winning the Ivy League, the ring. We're the only team to beat the team that won the championship. And I think that was just from like that specific week we had. I wouldn't say like a lack of focus, but we were kind of looking too far into the future and we weren't really focused on our opponent that week, and it was Brown. But I'd say satisfied. I can't really complain because we did improve a lot. But the next,
Yale won it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys played Yale and you guys actually beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the game and you guys had a pretty good defensive stop at the end that kind of won you guys the game. So you guys must have felt good about that, and then not to get the Ivy League. That's got to be kind of annoying at the same time too.
Yeah, it is annoying. I mean, it was our homecoming too, so it was a great win. And then the year before, we got like blown out by like 42 to like 20, 28, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty satisfying.
So like what were some differences from like you guys last year defensively and this year defensively? Like what'd you guys improve on the most?
Defensively, I'd say a big part of it was our leadership changed. We didn't have like a lot of guys like come back, so it's kind of like we're seeing the same faces. Like we got some new voices, new faces. But along with that, I thought our chemistry was better on the defense this year. Our practices were a little like more intense. We're all pushing each other, but honestly, it all started after that 3-7 season. Like we knew we were better than that. We knew we were much better than that. We had the people. We had a coaching change too, which helped a lot for our offense. But I think it incorporated more than just the defense. I think it was a team as a whole. It was just we had something to fight for,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys were striving for kind of improving from
Right.
3-7 to 8-2. That's quite a transition there. Like that's quite a spike. Like what really clicked throughout the whole team? Like you guys just were like locked into what you were doing, or like
well, I'll just keep comparing it to last year, like since that's what we're talking about. Once you start off like losing to like an out of conference team that you should have won or beat, that kind of sets you back a little bit. I mean, you try to stay focused, and the next week you get blown out by like Dartmouth on ESPN. It's just it's a little difficult to stay motivated, and not point the finger to each other. But this year, we took it week by week, started off 6-0, and we just had something to prove every week, not just to other people, but like to ourselves, like what we're really capable of. And that comes from trust in your teammates. We were just more everyone was more locked in, more tapped into
Yep.
the goal in mind. But yeah.
So like what are your goals for next year as a team? Like going undefeated or like winning the Ivy League?
So one of the things um I'm starting to notice, and like some of our coaches have said as well, like going undefeated is very difficult. Like to
Yeah.
be perfect, it's very difficult. So I mean, obviously our goal every year is to win the Ivy, but after this year, after that 3-7 year, 20 it was that 2021 season, and after this season, you kind of know or have a better idea of what it takes to reach that perfection or to get that ring.
Yeah.
Um, but I had this meeting yesterday with one of the coaches and a few other guys, and he was saying, um, like that jump we had from 3-7 to 8-2 was good, but the hardest part, and not many teams make that, is that next 1%, and that's what's going to get us to that next level. So I mean, we want more chemistry, we want more people locked in, and we want the ring. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean staying on top is like not not easy. Like you can get there and kind of be there for like temporarily and then you can kind of lose your mojo like pretty quick if you don't have things in sync.
Right, exactly. And
So
that
like
was
for you, like you kind of stepped in. What do you think you brought to the team this year that you guys didn't have last year at the safety position?
um this year. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was I got not more a lot more knowledge of our playbook. Not saying that I didn't have a lot last year, but I kind of knew what to do. I knew, but I didn't like understand why. And I think that was a big thing to help me just with like reads, pre-snap, stuff like that. But I mean, I bought or brought some aggression. Of course, I like to tackle.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of just wanted to make plays. I was going to be there. I wasn't going to point the finger at one of my teammates if they did something wrong. Yeah.
I watched I think it was against Columbia or Yale. I can't remember which one it was, but I swear I was watching it like the first two times. I thought you had the craziest interception ever. You like kicked it up and then caught it. I didn't realize that like the receiver dropped the ball and it hit the ground, but I thought you caught that interception. I was like,
Oh, that
"Oh
was
my."
Yale.
I was like, "Yo, how's this not ESPN top 10?" Like I literally thought it was the interception when I first watched it.
Yeah, so that was against Yale. I mean, the one against Cornell was pretty good too. I think. I don't know if you saw that one. But yeah, honestly, bro, I should have like 5 picks this year, but I broke my thumb. Well, I strained my thumb and I had this like little cast on my thumb for the whole season. And then second to last game, I broke it, like the tip of it. So any ball that touched my hands was not getting caught, pretty much.
Yeah, because your thumb, you kind of need it to catch a football. Like it's kind of crazy. Like you wouldn't think
Yeah,
think you could without it being kind of temporarily there, but you still need that movement
right.
a little bit. Like how long is
That's
that going to
very
take
true.
for you to kind of get that thumb back and ready? Like you think it'll be ready quick
Um,
or
see, I broke it November, the end of November. And then I had a cast on for a few weeks. So it's healed now, but there's still like a little piece broken in it. That'll take about another 3 weeks, and then I should be like pretty much completely healed.
so like when there's no question in your mind when you like broke it, like I have to be on the field. Like was that something you kind of were like,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like if you can still play, like it helped me back a little bit, but I can still like do my job, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't want to show weakness. I think that's also kind of what I brought like to the field at the safety position. Like I'm trying to not let things like hold me back from doing my job, you know, because I come to perform every week. We only have 10 games, like no bowl games, no playoffs. So you have to take advantage of literally every snap. And that's I wasn't gonna come out.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta stay in there and kind of make the most
Yeah.
of your opportunity. So what are things coming into the season that you think you did well, like throughout the year that you worked on in the off season before this year?
My man coverage skills are really good. I had a decent amount of like pass deflections. My range was good. I worked on that. My conditioning was good. Like I say after like that second game, like you come into the season thinking you're in condition, but once you hit that first game, it's like okay, maybe I need to up it a little bit. But after about this second game, that's when I was in like I'd say like peak condition. Um, but wait, well, I kind of lost track of the question you said
No, so
again. My fault.
like what do you think are things that you worked on during the off season that you kind of applied during the season?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that conditioning I was just talking about, and then obviously the knowledge of the playbook, and just honestly what's going on around me. So I know my help is man coverage, and um, yeah, I can't really say like discipline translated onto the field, but I think like into the locker room, like just the environment, weight room that I worked on that a lot this off season, and I think that helped me too. They just kind of stay on track.
So like as a safety, you do you prefer man coverage or do you prefer like a zone?
Um, Depends. I mean, honestly, it's probably better in zone because then I have the opportunity to like see the play develop. I don't have to only stare at the guy. Like I can see what's going on around me
Yeah.
and like possibly make a tackle. Uh, Man coverage is cool too, depending on the situation. Like I like it in the goal line. Um, just because a lot of the routes are narrowed down in the goal
Yeah.
line, like inside the like 15, like 12-yard line. Um, but probably zone. Yeah, zone.
Probably zone. So like tell me about the mind games between you and the quarterback because you're kind of reading his eyes when you're kind of back there in coverage. So like how do you kind of guess what he's gonna do or like assume what he's gonna do?
Right. So like the only time I like truly only read the quarterback or like base it is off of like cover one. And the quarterback's initial read is going to be you. So I mean, I'm honestly not playing too many mind games with them because I also have to be able to do my job. Um, but I mean, there's some things like he wants to throw to his favorite receiver, and he's in the slot, like 3rd and 10. Like obviously he's going to him. So if we're in man coverage, he knows that. Then I kind of just pop my feet right there. Like I'm not gonna backhoe or just get out of there immediately, like throw this sling or something right there. But we have linebackers. But I'm honestly not playing too many mind games because I still gotta do my job.
So when you're like in because you guys don't blitz, I notice you guys don't blitz the safety much. Like, do you wish that you had more chances to get to the quarterback, or is that kind of like something not really on your radar?
So we had some safety blitzes years prior. We had some last year too. Um, but I don't know why we took it out. Um, but then there was like another like formation blitz off it with the linebackers that worked out perfectly fine. We do have a safety blitz. It's like a cover zero pressure, and then you bring the safety. It's the boundary safety. We call him the free safety. But honestly, I'm not too complaining too much about it. just whatever helps the team, truthfully. I mean, I would like to blitz, get better at it because I know players and safeties in the league are doing it. So if I'm trying to go there, then I should probably get pretty good at it, you know?
Yeah. Who are some safeties like in the league that you model your game after?
Um, I would say, I mean, so I'm a Steelers fan, so obviously I enjoyed the short time I was able to watch Troy Polamalu play.
Yeah.
He was aggressive, he was quick, and then still staying on the Steelers, I like Minka. He's a great player, and so Derwin James, like those are probably like top three, you know. I actually remember I was at the Chargers game, that Monday Night Football game with the Colts. And I was like, I had some like pretty decent seats, and I just seen Derwin James like make this pick. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but just the way he played it, how he started off getting beat, but the dude's like 6'3",
Oh,
huge, and he's
yeah.
fast.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I was like,
crazy.
yeah, I was like,
He's
no way he
huge.
just
Like
made.
he's so big and so fast. Like he's like kind of throws you off a little bit.
Right? And some of those are kind of like some like intangibles. Like I'm not 6'3", 6 foot, 5'11" and a half. Uh, you know, but just the mindset. Honestly, I
Yeah.
think all those players have in common is that mindset.
So like you
Then
said,
yeah,
like Steelers like players, like you like talked about like Troy Polamalu because he was like known for like the clutch interceptions and like stuff like that.
right.
Like, what are some things that you can do during the off season to kind of like get like him when it comes to interception wise to be able to read a little bit better?
So the thing, well, I guess honestly, now that you say it, there is some coverages where I am like kind of playing with the quarterback. Like if we're doing like a cover three and I'm like coming down, he doesn't know if I'm like hook the curl for like curl to flat, if I'm like just like a hard flat player. So I do kind of play some games a little bit with him there. Um, but I think the biggest thing for me is to like get back catching. Like I haven't caught a ball in I don't know how many months. So I need to get that up, and that's going to help my IQ. That's just going to have to continue going up because that's the biggest difference between like college and the league. Like obviously
Yeah.
speed, but the knowledge is where it's at. Um, but yeah, I think the aggressive mentality kind of comes from Troy Polamalu. That comes from training, like in everything, not only training, but in everything you do. But if we're focusing on training, you gotta push yourself like every day. Like it's not
Yeah.
just like go down here, get this quick lift in. It's like no, you kind of gotta work to grow. That's
Yeah. You got to put your
not only
foot on the gas
physical,
pedal and kind of keep
right?
going a little bit.
It's more
So like
mental.
your thumb, like so when you were like in positions to get an interception, like you would try to obviously catch it, but like would it just be like super annoying that like you can't like like
Yeah. So I remember one vividly. It was Georgetown. We were in a cover two, kind of like on the goal line. I think it was like the 15 or like 12. I'm not sure. But it was inside the 20. We're in a cover two and like a 101 with the corner. But like at the snap, I'm moving in between the receiver close to the sideline and the slot. And I'm literally sitting there, perfect position. And the slot was running the corner. So I'm
yeah.
like here to pick it off. And it comes straight to me. And the ball, like this one, I had the cast on my thumb. Like I had it in one hand, but he put some like zip on it. And I just couldn't catch it. It went straight through. If I would have caught it, it would have been like 108-yard touchdown return. Like obviously I tried, but it's kind of just has to be like the perfect ball. So I got one perfect ball, which was against Cornell, because I could really only catch him if it was like lofted.
Yeah.
Um, so I got one against them, and then broke my thumb next week.
So are there like any differences between like being in the red zone or like kind of being in like the normal field when you guys are on defense? Because like there's a tighter space when you're like kind of closer to the red zone when the offense is close.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some differences. You get some different kind of plays, you get different routes. We even like move our alignments down some. So I mean, we have like like three zones, like other red zones, like high red zone, low red zone, and then goal line. So, goal lines is completely different. The field, you can get so many like different plays, so many different routes. Um, but once you get inside I think we do it inside the 18, we consider the red zone. Yeah, inside the 18s, we consider the red zone. So
Yeah.
that's when we start moving our alignment, you know, uh our zone coverages become a little tighter. So you're not like necessarily just passing off. You kind of got to stick with the receiver a little bit, then pass it off. Bring some pressures. You're not really doing. I mean, you can do that in the middle of the field, but you really just don't want them to get yards. They like get a field goal or anything and go on. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah. So safety is that a position you always wanted to play, or did you ever think about, corner at all? Because I know they're kind of similar, but they're kind of different, like in a
Right.
sense.
So I mean, I would say I always I mean, I played like all the positions growing up, and I didn't really start playing safety till I got to high school. But our safety position was different than what we run. Like in high school, it was like completely different, like way different, like 3-3 stack made to stop the run, one high safety, not even a high safety, one safety playing at 10 yards. Like that's what I did in high
Yeah.
school. So I was basically a really athletic linebacker, just making tackles, making plays. Versus college, it was like learning a whole new playbook, like completely different. I had to if I wanted to play. Um, but yeah, I'm losing track of the question again.
It's all good. So, like, what are the differences for you between safety and corner?
Right, corner. Corner is more technical, I would say. It depends which corner you're at, but corner is more technical. Um, I mean, you still have to have knowledge, and sometimes you have to come up and make that tackle. Safety is more of well, it depends on which defense, but I'd say safety is more of the like quarterback of the defense. Um, but there's no like discredit to corner because not everyone can play corner. You have to be really technical. You have to be a good player, and you've got to have like some intangibles. Like if you're not fast, then you got to have great technique, or you got to
Yeah.
have strong hands. I mean, any defensive player, you got to have strong hands because you barely get the ball like thrown to you, and if it does, you gotta make a play.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I didn't really play corner. I did in like 707. Or actually no, I played corner my sophomore year of high school for like 2 games. That's when I came back from like I had broke my collarbone. And that was my first game back was against Ron Colley. I played corner. And that wasn't bad. Yeah.
You were on at Cathedral, you were on some like pretty good teams defensively. Like, how
Yeah.
did that prepare you for like the next level?
I mean, obviously the competition kind of gets you like that mentality that anyone can be beat. These dudes are
Yeah.
human. No, you just gotta trust yourself and trust your coaches. But I'd say Cathedral kind of helped me with that mentality of like everyone's human. You can play with the best of the best, even if you don't have the best players. You can you can still put up a fight. Like
Yeah.
you're not going back, which is I say I learned that from Cathedral. Yeah.
So did that like help you transition easier into college, kind of playing at Cathedral?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so because I wasn't going against like scrubs every week. We didn't come from like a small school. I mean, it is small, but like we weren't playing like no hate, but like Shatards every week or like for buffs. Like we were Saint X and Elder and Saint Ed's. Like
Yeah.
we were playing some dudes, and I think that helped a lot. Even with like preparing for games, it's like is yeah, I think it helped.
Yeah, so that like was it like that was like toughest schedule I would say out of any team in the state then. So like who were some tough guys that you played when you guys were kind of going out of the state that you thought were kind of a tough task to deal with.
Right. In high school, tough teams were honestly we played some Ohio teams. Actually, St. Ed's. My two roommates, they're from St. Ed's, and they're pretty difficult. I don't think we'll ever beat them, but I mean, they just get some dudes. Like we get guys too, but um, yeah. But most of our out of state teams, we play like a team from Kentucky. They were all right. I think it was Ryle. Um, But yeah, I mean, I'd say like the competition is a little different, like Ohio and Kentucky's versus Indiana. But I do think Indiana football slept. Like there's still a lot of like good players.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand because, like, a lot of like Texas gets a lot of attention, like a lot of like the bigger states, like Florida, like there's still some good players that come out of Indiana. Like, it's not like, you know,
Mhm.
they're not bums in
Yeah, I
Indiana.
mean, like the thing is like some coaches like so recruiters have like regions and like if you're at a Florida school or like UCF, USF, or like LSU, like they don't even have recruiters looking at Indiana. They're looking to get guys from like Texas, Cali, Georgia,
Yeah,
uh, some North like South Carolina. Like they're not even really worried about like the Midwest because like just let them go to Big Ten or like MAC, something like that.
yeah. So how was the recruiting process when you were getting recruited?
Right. My recruiting process. So I mean, I had some decent looks like going into my sophomore year. Went to a few camps, got some eyes on me. So that sophomore season was supposed to be like big for me. I had just got the starting spot. Um, my sophomore year at safety, and like a week before practice or a week before the first game, that's when I broke my collarbone, and that kind of set me back like a lot because I missed the whole season and came back. It still wasn't feeling like up to par. So I played like one or two JV games. I had to get my speed back. It was just a really big setback, and my recruitment kind of started over like my junior year. So that's when I really had to lock in and get the eyes back on me. I got like my first offer from like Toledo. Yeah, they were my first one, and I was just like really appreciative of that because then it was like, okay, like this work is kind of paying off. Like I just gotta like up it to the next level,
Yeah,
like keep showing up. And that helped. And then like after the opening, this was after my junior year, going into senior year. Yeah, like after like some Adidas and like the opening, like I started getting like some like serious looks, like Big Ten and then like some see what is there was that Big 12. Yeah, Big 12. Like looks, but then I had some good ones in my arsenal and I really considered them and I ended up, taking my visit to Penn, seeing like what the school is about,
yep,
seeing what it could be, because I mean at the time they were just all right. I think like six, what was their record? Maybe like 6-4, and then it just went down, and then 3-7. But I don't know. You just got to look past the situation it's in now. Even if it's a really good situation, you have to look into the future, and I think
yeah,
that's what I learned, and I think it's been a great decision for me. It challenges me football wise, mentally for sure. Like talking about school, it's no cakewalk.
yeah. I mean, it's Ivy
But
League,
yeah,
like.
right.
So like Ivy
Yeah.
League, because like I don't think a lot of people really know like, but the Ivy League because they always focus on like the Power Five, like like there's still like NFL talent like kind of hidden in the Ivy League.
Yeah.
Like, how would you
Hmm.
describe kind of your experience being in the Ivy League? Because it is different from other conferences.
Yeah. I say the Ivy League, you don't really go against, I mean, maybe like two like a couple teams maybe that are just all right. But there's a lot of sleepers in the Ivy League, I think. Like you can't really underestimate the talent of the players and the talent of the coaches because there's still some good coaches in the Ivy League and they'll try to expose weaknesses. Um, yeah, so I don't think it's been bad. If anything, it's been good. Like it's still a challenge every week. But I mean, obviously not like compared to like Big Ten where you just have like the resources to just
Yeah.
get those guys and get these guys much better and like even the money to bring those guys in or keep it with the facilities. I mean, like we're finally getting a new locker room. It's gonna be nice. So we're like in like one of these like rec locker rooms for the spring until that's
Yeah.
done. But yeah, it hasn't been
So
bad.
you've
I like
mentioned
it.
NFL a few times as well. Is that your ultimate goal as a football player?
Yeah, it is. Sure.
So like what are you gonna do to prove everyone next year that you do belong on that level?
Right. So I mean, I've been working on that since like my first year here. So it kind of started back then, but I say like some goals at least like this year. Um, I feel like I need to. I should step up more in my leadership role of the team. Especially if we want to hit that next 1%
Yeah.
to get that ring. Next year I want honorable mention or not honorable mention. Next year I want all American because they gave me like honorable mention this year, which was just astounding to me. But if I would have caught the ball those 5 times, then I would have got it. But it is what it is. At least first team. But yeah, next year I want All American. I want to stay healthy, and I want 6 interceptions. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is just to make it undeniable that I'm one of the best safeties in the Ivy, if not the best. And I think that's what's going to get me to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, you just want to get there as I mean, any way you can. I mean, it's a journey either way, depending on how quick or how long it takes. As long as you keep grinding, you can stay at it and get there.
Hmm.
I hope you stay
Like,
healthy because injuries seem to be quite a consistent thing with you. Like, how do you keep your head up when you have like injuries
I mean,
that
honestly,
I feel like hold you back?
right. I mean, is playing hurt. Like you're not gonna go through a season 100% healthy. So it's kind of just about managing them. Like I had like landed weird and like hurt my cartilage like the second game of the season. Still played. Just kind of Advil becomes a good friend of yours. Kind of that. Yeah, you won't be healthy the whole season. You just kind of have to come to terms with that.
Yeah, because I mean, it is football at the end of the day. I mean, you are tackling people every
Like
single week.
running as
So,
fast as you can. Right, pretty much.
all right, man. Is there anything you want to say before I close this out? I know you're short on time, but
No, I appreciate you having me on your podcast. I'll support you. Just let me know if we could do this again anytime. Um, but I don't know. I guess to the people out there, if you have your goals, actually work to get them, to reach for them. You can't do it alone, so find someone with the same ones in mind and just keep going up. You'll be all right.
exactly, exactly. I appreciate you for hopping on. I
For sure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
This has been Shiloh Means, safety from University of Pennsylvania. I'm your host Jackson Burleson, and this has been another episode of the Take Podcast. You guys take care.